That is the view from the famous Springer Mountain. Here's the plaque. And there's the first blaze. I'm touching it. And it's a beautiful day. I'll be walking to Fontana Dam where I finished going through the Smokies. And it's about 170 miles for me. Today is beautiful. The rest of the time it's going to be raining. So it looks like I'll have 7 or 8 days of rain that I'll be dealing with. Anyhow, I'm trekking for Tarzan. We'll see you later today. So the important thing about what you saw in that image was actually not what you did see, but what you didn't see. You didn't see snow. Hooray! Oh, it was so nice hiking yesterday. Without that extra added difficulty. I did 17 miles from Springer to Gooch Gap Shelter starting at 11:30. So that was a pretty good clip. When I got there, there were 3 guys, all in their 20s or 30s probably. And they were on day 3 of their hike from Springer. And I'm not bragging. It's just the way it is. You know, I have a month on trail on them, and most of it was under the duress of dealing with snow drifts and ice and so forth. And so they're just getting started. They don't have their trail legs yet. And it takes a while. Plus I had done training hikes before that, so I'm kind of ready to go. So I'm not sure how far I'll go today. As far as I can. We're supposed to have rain moving in, and oh, I dread that. It'll be umbrella time. So anyhow, this mountain has a lot of rock on the trail. I'm going to put the camera away because this is potential for slippage. And I want you to see me hiking, not falling. So, good morning to you all. It is February 5th, and I'm in southern Georgia. Enjoying the weather so far. Hey viewers, ready for another Fred rant? Okay, this might not sound like a big deal to you, but we're out here on the trail and there's very few laws, right? It's not like our highways, but in fact it is, for the most part, a single track path. There's, in most places, there's room for one person. And so now comes the question, what if two people are coming in opposite directions? So basically, on a hiking trail, the person going downhill should defer. The person going uphill has the right of way. And there are a number of reasons for this. It makes perfect sense. When you're hiking, you're looking down at the ground because you could turn an ankle. Look at what I'm doing right now. Are you seeing that? Rocks, roots, mud, boulders. It's not a smooth path necessarily. So anyhow, you're looking down at your feet because you'll turn an ankle or trip if you don't. So the person going downhill, looking at his feet, he can see a lot of the trail, right? Because he's looking downhill and the trail goes downhill. Whereas when you're going uphill, you see the trail immediately in front of you and you don't see what's above you. And I have actually encountered hikers who were hiking uphill, and I got off the trail to let them go by. And when they went by, it startled them. They had never even seen me because I was uphill and they're looking down at their feet. So anyhow, over and over, trail people will tell you proper trail etiquette is the uphill person has the right of way. So I had this big, brawny trail runner come barreling down the hill, and I was going uphill. And he started moving to the right a little bit, so I thought he was getting off. Oh no, he wasn't getting off. He laid his shoulder right into me. You know, a 20-something linebacker pounded a 70-year-old thru hiker who's going uphill. And then he started giving me lip. I said, dude, uphill has the right of way. No, trail runners have the right of way. I said, that's a new one on me. But anyhow, got my heart rate up and my adrenaline up. Probably good for an extra couple miles today, who knows. And if some of you out there have heard something about trail runners have the right of way on the Appalachian Trail, the world famous hiking trail, well, you'll have to let me know. But I don't think that's the case. I think he was just buffaloing me. All right, I feel so much better about unloading. Thanks for listening to my rant. Nice day today. Should get some good miles. Rain's moving in tonight, so it'll be a new adventure tomorrow. Here's what hiking in Georgia is like. You'll hike uphill and uphill and uphill and uphill and finally get to the top, and the trail starts going down. And then off in the distance you'll see another mountain and you'll think, oh no, I don't want to go up there. But that's exactly where the trail is going. And it happens over and over and over, up and down and up and down. So that's just the name of the game. It was kind of a nasty night. It sprinkled all night. I tented, and it was a cool night too, so my breath condensed on the inside of the tent walls. So a lot of my gear is damp, but That's CAT for you. I wanted to follow up a little bit on some background on false confessions. Back, 100 years or more, police used to use tactics similar to what the military uses on terrorists. And they actually had a name for that. It was called the third degree. So it involved threats, beatings, torture, and they would extract confessions. Well, the courts ultimately decided that wasn't a valid way to get confessions. And so they banned uses of physical torture and threats. So to fill that void, police started using psychological tactics to get confessions. And there's a company, it's an old company, J.R. Reid, I think, R-E-I-D, that developed a whole system, and they taught classes and had books and trained police on how to get people to confess. And for sure, by and large, it was effective. They got a lot of guilty people to confess. The problem is they also got a lot of innocent people to confess. Unless it's recorded, there's no way to know what really goes on. And I think that's a really strong point, is that any interrogation that the police conduct should be fully recorded, not just the ultimate confession, but we need to see all the interactions that the police have with the suspect. And only until we do that can we see if it was a genuine confession and wasn't somehow forced. Police in other countries have moved away from the strong-arm psychological techniques that J.R. Reid uses. And they have a system they call inquisitorial. So they want to find the truth. So they will question suspects, but it's only to gather facts and follow up on them. And so how successful is that? Well, the data shows that they are able to get a percentage of guilty people to confess, similar to what occurs here in the U.S. But the difference is they're not getting innocent people to confess. Of the 3,600 exonerations I'm just throwing out that ballpark figure. It's somewhere near there. It could be 3,800 by now. But there's about 15 to 20% of those people who were convicted in part because of false confessions. So that's significant. There is a culture of rush, do what you can. We have to get an arrest within 48 hours or the whole world ends. And I know there's a lot of pressure from families and so forth to solve these crimes, but you have to look at the physical evidence, and it has to match the crime and the suspect. And that didn't happen in Charles' case. There was lots of physical evidence that showed that he didn't do it, and yet they turned a blind eye to that and hung their hat on the false confession. And of course, the whole world, that's the gold standard. Okay, well, that's my start for the day. It is great weather despite all the rain we had last night, and I'm starting to see a lot of hikers, which is kind of fun. After you go 3 or 4 weeks without seeing anybody, it's good to have some human contact. Trekking for Tarzan. That is a bowl of fog. I'm hiking above the clouds. Major retaining walls going on here, and probably road widening. Makes for interesting crossing. Those construction workers were razzing me about wearing shorts and how I could stay warm. And I told them, you put a 40-pound pack on your back and hike up these hills and you'll be wearing shorts too. So it's 39 degrees. And the sun, I don't know if it's going to burn off all this fog. Up on the tall mountains, you can look down on the fog. But it's kind of keeping it cool down here. All right, I'm looking for a lunch spot. And burning calories going uphill. That's the way it goes. I am about to cross the Fontana Dam, and this marks the end of a 30-mile day. So I'll be connecting my footsteps with where I exited the Great Smoky Mountain National Park.